I got a question for you as you come in the door, though. Do you think that Michael Jordan fans are the best?
I'm a Michael Jordan fan. I'm a Kobe Bryant fan. I'm a LeBron James fan. I'm a fan of greats. So I can argue on every side of the coin on all of them.
But do you think that Michael Jordan fans are the best?
Are they the best?
Hello, everyone. Michael Jordan fans are the best. And today we're going to be talking primarily about Kobe Bryant and the disrespect surrounding him and how it applies to his death. And before we get into that, we have to talk about the Luka AD trade that happened in the middle of last night. But before we get into that, I want to welcome you all that are watching. And let's welcome the panel. Hoop God, how are you today, sir?
Man, Dart, I got my coffee. I feel great. I'm ready to get into this topic because it is some hurt feelings in the basketball community, and I'm about to cry. I'm about to laugh it up, and I'm about to, hey, listen, all of you hurt fans, okay? We have plenty of tissue for your issues.
I like that. All right. And we got Robin, Sports and Fitness Rants. How are you today, sir?
Yes, Dom, I'm doing great, man. Once again, it's great to be with you guys on another Sunday edition. Shout out to my man Hoop God for being here. My man Dog, once again, as always, holding it down for us. And shout out to anybody that came, was watching us talk on AOH's channel a little while ago. And you guys know, man, there's a lot of things going on this morning. It's a busy Sunday in the NBA right now. As you guys know, I believe 4 more days before the NBA trade deadline. So it'll be interesting, man. So, yeah, you guys know the deal, man. Let's roll.
All right, so first, we have the AD Luka trade, and here's some of the details surrounding it. So, I had all the information, but let me see. Where is it? Okay, yeah. So the Dallas Mavericks, they traded Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first round pick. So when I heard about this last night, I got to say, it didn't really make sense to me because I think of Luka and I think of LeBron, and I've seen LeBron in respect to how he plays with other ball dominant guys. And I thought, well, I don't think this is going to work out. And I don't think it's going to work out in respect to winning right now. And I thought about, well, why would the Mavericks want to get rid of Luka Doncic? And then I started reading into that more. So Michael Finley, they started, the New York Post associated Luka only playing, I think, 22 games this year and him drinking a lot and just taking care of his health and conditioning as a reason why the Mavericks wanted to let him go. So I thought, well, why would the Lakers want him if they're not going to win right now? And I think that the Lakers are trying to groom Luka through some of the mentorship of LeBron James to go and take on the mantle when he leaves in the next couple of years. So the Mavericks get AD, who's an all-NBA, all-defensive player. And I think that they're still trying to win right now. And I'm still confused in the entirety of this whole thing. But I think in short, I think the things that are coming around it is that the Lakers are planning for the future. The Mavericks still want to win right now. And who do I think won this trade? I think the Mavericks won this trade in respect to right now for this season. I think they still are going to be a team that has the potential to make a deep playoff run. The Lakers, I'm unsure of, because at least with recent history with LeBron and ball dominant guys like Russell Westbrook, I don't see it working out. Hoop God, what do you got to say about this?
No, Dart, you're absolutely right, man. Like we were kind of rapping about this earlier, just getting back to basketball because let's be honest. I mean, I give LeBron all the due credit. He is a great player. He just has a lot of deficiencies, and his glaring deficiency is he cannot play without the ball. We can look at his track record. The 2011 finals, cannot play without the ball. The 2018-2019 season, I'm about to activate playoff mode, cannot play without the ball. So for him to establish his productiveness, he has to have the ball. Okay, now we have a conflict of interest. Luka Doncic plays the exact same way. Only difference is Luka Doncic he's a more versatile scorer. He's the younger player. He's the upcoming star that's like right there in that sweet spot of his prime. Like I like to call it sports nirvana, where the mental and the physical kind of like sync up together. So no, they're not going to say, okay, Luka, adjust your game for LeBron. No, LeBron, you're going to have to adjust your game to playing with Luka Doncic. And as I said before, we've seen that LeBron struggles to do that. So now, essentially, I'm looking at it just realistically. If he's going to stay with the Lakers, well, you're going to have to be a third option because you can't take away from Dalton Connect and Austin Reeves' production. They're upcoming. So is his ego going to allow that? No, I don't see it because, again, he has to be the central hub. He has to have all.
Oh, God.
Is that me or is that him?
No, that's him.
To wait.
Oh, God, I think we lost you for a second.
Oh, my bad.
God. Yes.
What was the last thing I heard?
I don't know, man. Just, yeah.
Okay, my bad. But no, just to sum it up, I don't see the pairing with him and Luka. That's, to me, that's like, yeah, Luka is the long-term plan. Hey, LeBron, if you want to stay here, great. If not, we would prefer you waive your no trade clause so we can continue to fill this roster out around Luka Doncic. And as far as the Dallas Mavericks, oh yeah, they got a significant upgrade because what people have to realize is that Jason Kidd was the assistant coach when the Lakers won that, the 2020 championship. So he knows what Anthony Davis is going to bring on that defensive side, never mind the offense. Now Anthony Davis can kind of like can play inside out rather than outside in, which is going to put him at a level of comfort, which is going to maximize Klay Thompson with his off-ball movement, catch and shoot opportunities. And then you have Kyrie Irving being now the the official floor general who can go out there and orchestrate and does not have to share the responsibilities with a Luka Doncic. So as far as the Dallas Mavericks, they won big time. But shout out to Rob Pelinka for he made a hellified chess move with this one. Like, I love it.
All right. Yeah, Robin, what do you got to say about this?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you guys are around the money because there's so many different things that we need to talk about here today, Dart. I don't even know if we're going to be able to get to Kobe Bryant today, man. Kobe Bryant, I need to take a back seat today, man. And we might need to wait for Scab to come back to talk about Kobe Bryant, man, because there's so many different avenues that we need to discuss, that we need to go over here. Because like you mentioned, if we just think about it as far as basketball, X's and O's goes, this is a dumb move. It doesn't make any sense. For the Lakers, it doesn't seem to make any sense. For the Mavericks, it looks like it makes sense. It looks like a good move for the Mavericks. Like you mentioned, Dart, in the immediate future, it looks like the Mavericks won the trade. The Lakers, this is based off of potential down the road, it seems like to me. But also what I was talking about with AOH earlier on the live, is this a move that they're setting up for LeBron James to be moved out of LA? Hoop God, you mentioned the no trade clause. Are they going to create a narrative where LeBron James can leave LA, go back to maybe the Cleveland Cavaliers or some other team, like maybe the Golden State Warriors, and play with Steph Curry or the Phoenix Suns? Someone mentioned earlier, maybe he can go play for these teams. They could create that narrative. LeBron James waives his no trade clause to go to those teams, and then everything is good. And you have Dallas with Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic on the Los Angeles Lakers, and he's allowed, like you said, to lead that team for years down the road.
So
but
you
there's
guys
so
sound
many
like
other
you're
avenues that we can think about as far as this move that we talked about on AOH's channel earlier, man. So like I said, I don't know if we're gonna be able to get to Kobe Bryant today, man.
you guys sound like you live in reality, though. You're speaking rationally that
Right.
yes, this looks like LeBron would be getting moved out. No, it's yet another opportunity for LeBron to, I mean, he's standing in the corner more and more and more, except for the occasion that he feels like bulldozing. So let Luka pick up the scoring burden. Let LeBron hit the open dunk every now and then and still take the credit. It's the same shit. New player.
Well, I was going to say, in respect of what you were saying, Robin, about and Hoop God about trying to move him out there, I don't see that happening. They're going to let him retire as a Laker. I don't think that LeBron has any will to move to any other team. I think that he wants to retire as a Laker. I think that this is all just surrounding LeBron, and I think that, you know, down the line, let's say that Luka becomes successful, they're going to give credit to LeBron to making him a champion. I think there's no way that LeBron waives his trade clause and he leaves LA.
You know, I mentioned on AOH's show earlier, Dart, I said that they could try to create a narrative around LeBron James that if he could go back to the Cleveland Cavaliers, let's say, and retire on the Cleveland Cavaliers, to me, that's a situation, a scenario that could very well be real, because it's not really LeBron James going to a quote-unquote another team or a different team. He's going home. He's going back home to Cleveland. He's retiring on Cleveland, but also he's going to a contender. And like I said on AOH earlier, I said, if they could sell it to the people out there and they could create the narrative that LeBron James would be getting the Cleveland Cavaliers over the hump, that they need him to win a title, and he was able to go there and lead them to a championship, that would be all he needed to run into the sunset back in Cleveland at home, man. So I can see that happening. But you're right. Does he want to go to maybe another team and move his family like that? Yeah, probably not.
I've been worried about that ever since the Cavaliers started improving.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on this, AOH, altogether, on this trade?
Where the NBA is so goofy that you don't know what to think. You really don't. I mean, the fact that we have to be curious whether or not LeBron will be loyal to the Lakers, who have done everything they can for him, or if this is all a big part of a plan to make his career look a certain way, is what's astonishingly sad about it. It's about, oh, how will this look when people are telling the story of my career? Not what can I do for this franchise? Not what can I do to help my teammates win? Not the integrity of the game. Not, maybe I should retire. I'm hurting people. No, there's a way for me to continue to manipulate this to where I have a storybook ending. What's happening in LA right now is not a storybook ending. And I think we can all agree that LeBron James wants a storybook ending. Therefore, we have to seriously consider what Robin is saying.
Speen, what's your thoughts on this trade that happened last night?
What's the major sentiment, just so I make sure I'm not repeating anything?
What is your thoughts? It doesn't matter. Just what's your thoughts?
Oh, Mr. Jefferson, do it.
No, I think it's great because it's going to be a disaster. I think that the larger implications are going to be that it's going to hurt LeBron's legacy completely, because they're not going to win. If they do win, it's going to be because of Luka, not because of him. If they lose, everybody wins, as far as I'm concerned. But I like the fact that I'm going to see at least 20 to 30 minutes of game breaks while they're complaining at the refs. I'm going to love the fact that they're going to have 70 free throws a game, maybe 80. I think, I don't know, it's going to crash and burn. I hope AD balls out. I hope he averages 40 and 20, and I hope he starts like letting these little secrets leak about the inner workings of the Lakers. And I brought this up on AOH's show too, real quick. It's going to be interesting to see what this does for the race relations of the league and their big anti-European stance, because now you're going to have arguably the best offensive player in the league who's also European, while you have, you know, Gilbert Arenas and guys of that ilk talking about how Europeans don't need to be in the league anymore. So it's going to be a really interesting kind of clash of ideals.
And Dart, I have some good news for you. If you think you can ever pull yourself away from how Richard Jefferson brings it when you call on him, 93Z can replace him anytime you want.
You do not have my permission or my likeness.
AOH, absolutely not. My co-host will not be replaced by somebody in the comments just chatting. No, sir.
We got to stick together. Thank you. We got to stick together. You see how they do us, right?
Hey, y'all, I brought Steam Engine in here, so just chill out.
I give you credit for that.
Yeah, he brought you in. He can take you out. That's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, I watched some of your interview on the side, or your live stream with 93Z. I thought he was entertaining. I haven't seen any of his stuff before, But yeah, I'm looking to check it out. But yeah,
Well, he does a great job with his edited videos. He puts he has a nice blend of entertainment and footage from the games.
nice.
And he laughs. He's happier than I am. So if you need a break from my cynical ass,
Low hanging fruit.
where is Nick? Where's Nick? Is he not going to be here to talk about this?
No, he's too sad.
Oh.
He's too sad with Luka leaving. No,
That's big.
No, he had something personal going on. Same with Scap. Ironically, the same kind of thing going on. So but yeah, I mean, so y'all mentioned that he could go to Cleveland or something along the lines of that. I know that there were rumors before where people were saying,
not to interrupt, but realistically, how's he going to fit with what the Cavaliers have established?
When's that ever matter?
Can I finish my question?
Oh, my apologies. My apologies. Hey, Dart, I've drank the coffee this morning. I'm ready to go.
So outside of the Cavs, I mean, what other team? There were rumors about him going to the Warriors sometime with that Olympic bromance that he had with Steph Curry. Right. I mean, what other teams? I had said that I don't think it's going to happen, but a lot of you think so. What other teams are places that he would actually waive his no trade clause to go to?
New York.
New York?
Sure.
You think he wants to play with Cat?
Oh, he'll have the franchise move in and out whatever pieces he wants to, as usual. So Cat doesn't have to be there. It's just about whether or not he wants to sell New York Nick LeBron James jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this whole thing is very weird, man, to me, because like I said, like if LeBron James, I don't know, because LeBron James not that long ago said that he could play 5 or 6 more years at a high level. At a high level. This man's been playing at a high level in a long damn time. I don't know what the hell he's watching out there, but he ain't been playing at a high level in a minute, man.
Is he talking about offense? Is he talking about offense? Because he ain't played at a high level on defense since 2013.
Word.
Well, Hoop God, you're talking about the Cavs and how he would fit on the Cavs. I mean, do you want to expand on that? And then, just with the question otherwise of what other teams you think he would go to if he does.
So Don, let's look at LeBron's style of play, number one. If LeBron had a third of Larry Bird's approach to the game, I'd be like, you know what? I think he'd be a great addition to the Cavaliers because, he wouldn't upset the rhythm. He wouldn't upset the chemistry. He would just seamlessly fit in like a Kevin Durant per se. I think he'd be perfect with the Cavaliers. But LeBron is the total opposite. He's the 180. If he goes to the Cavaliers now, Donovan Mitchell's production goes down. Darius Garland goes down. Evan Mobley doesn't have that green light to just, light it up like he does. Now, think about this, for example. Think about this, guys. LeBron does not fit well with rim protection. Hear me out. When they had Ben Wallace, what was his job? To clog the paint, rim protect, right? Ben Wallace could only play sparingly minutes in that 09 matchup against the Orlando Magic because LeBron has to have a clear lane, right? He cannot thrive with a big man who camps out in the middle of the paint because he has to have a driving lane. So now you have Kareem Jarrett. Are you going to just like render him null and void now? His minutes gets cut down because if LeBron doesn't have a clear lane, he can't freight train to the goal and then make those ridiculous passes out of motion that are going to get picked off in the playoffs. So to me, it's like he will just destroy that entire team and make it about him when they already have a perfect flow. They have chemistry, they have continuity, they have team cohesion, things that he does not bring to that team. Now, you're asking me what team do I see he could possibly be a benefit to? Possibly the Utah Jazz. I mean, they don't have anybody over there that's noteworthy, but he's not going to go there.
Well, I mean, a team that
this
he
whole
would,
romance,
not that he would go to, that he would waive his no trade clause.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, he would go to the Golden State Warriors on the surface, but that's not going to work out because now you're going to have a Steph Curry who he dominates without the ball. But what are you? So Draymond, you love LeBron so much. If he comes to your team, he's going to take your role. Like, I'm sorry, Draymond, you're going to have to come off the bench because you can't have two inefficient shooters out there, two guys who are not a threat to shoot the ball. Not only that, but Draymond, are you going to go out there and spot up in the corner so LeBron can have a free lane to drive? I mean, I just don't see how that's going to fit on paper. Yeah, it may look nice, but if we're going to actually map that out, and then you got to think, Draymond and Curry, they have chemistry. They have cohesion and continuity. That, you know, they have that quarterback wide receiver type of relationship. LeBron does not have that chemistry with Curry. So now, LeBron, are you going to be able to pick and choose your shots and get Curry the ball when he needs it? But we know you got to get your stats. I mean, I know he's going to go to Golden State. That would be one that he'll be willing to go to. But Steve Kerr, like, if you think Draymond is giving you frustration, oh my goodness, you better go get some Excedrin. You better go get some Midol. You better go get some illegal, I would say, narcotics, because that's going to be a headache times 5. He would possibly try to explore the Phoenix Suns, but I know for a fact that Rob Pelinka is going to want Kevin Durant back. Like, there's no way he's going to let those two play together. I don't see him going to the Knicks. I just don't. Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, even if you take Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, LeBron can't match his production. And again, he needs the ball. So I don't see it, but I think he would possibly try to go there. But I don't know. It's thin out there for him. So I'm just sitting back eating my popcorn. Let's see how this plays out.
Real quick. Is anybody talking about how this team is going to be refed? Because everyone thinks the refs are on the Lakers side now. That's one top 2 complainer. Now they're getting the other top complainer. So, you know, you can kind of justify the free throw differential because you had AD in the paint. And yeah, he's in the paint sometimes and he gets fouled. You can't justify a free throw differential this season. Not now. Because what's Jackson Hayes going to go 13 for 19 from the free throw line? No, he's not. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with that just in the press, because so many of LeBron's points come from free throws and so many of their buckets come from free throws. And I don't know, Luka, like I said, he's a freshman year Ben Roethlisberger. He ain't running up and down that court.
But again, the Lakers aren't done. They're going to get a big man. They're not done.
Yeah,
Crazy as that
what
sounds.
you guys mentioned is you guys were talking about, you know, with LeBron James and, you know, the players that he plays with, you know, what they always have to make the adjustments. That's the key here. So when you guys said earlier, if LeBron James, that's the problem, Dart. Where could he really go? You know, I'm talking about the narrative. They have to create a narrative. That's the only way that he could go somewhere. They have to create a narrative around it. Because like you said, Hoop God, he doesn't really fit stylistically with any team. Because if he goes to your team, he's forcing everyone on the team now to alter and change their roles. You know, I heard someone talking earlier about Anthony Davis, and, you know, LeBron James was frustrated with Anthony Davis sometimes last season, and that's when they think this started to begin, you know, maybe the Lakers moving Anthony Davis. And they said that he was frustrated with Anthony Davis because he was inconsistent, you know, at certain times. But the reason why Anthony Davis is inconsistent at certain times is because he's playing alongside LeBron James. That's literally the reason why. When you think about all the players that played with LeBron James throughout their careers, the one thing that they all have in common is that they're not the same consistent versions of themselves. They have to change, mold, adapt, and adjust their games. So once again, how consistent could you be if you're always having to make the adjustments, make the sacrifice? And that's why LeBron James can't really go to a team and you can really say, oh, this is going to work, you know, X, Y, Z, or based off the X's and O's, because LeBron James, like you said, he can't play without the ball. He doesn't move that well without the basketball in his hands. He doesn't play any defense right now. So what is he really bringing to the table for a contender or another team? When I think about LeBron James and Luka Doncic right now, I'm thinking, let's say they're both healthy and they're both on the court. Now, once again, this forces LeBron James to show and prove. Can you win with another all-time great player where you have help, where you should take the back seat to someone like Luka Doncic?
Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. And it really doesn't make sense. And I don't think it looks good in respect to LeBron for the rest of his career. Well, I don't want that might be a stretch, but in respect to him winning another championship, I mean, he would have to adjust. And that's the thing. I don't have faith that he's going to adjust and mold because he's always been the dominant figure on all of his teams. And Luka Doncic is a dominant figure, and so far within the time that he's played in the league. So one of them's got to take a back seat, and I don't think it's going to be LeBron. I don't think he's got the ego to take a back seat and say, hey, Luka, you're the guy now, and then him try to mentor him. I don't see it happening, and I don't see him moving either. And, you know, not to reiterate, but he's in LA, he's moved there, he's Hollywood, he's all this stuff. The aspect of it is I just think he's going to ride it out there, and we're just going to watch the Lakers. Hope I don't know, because Luka, again, you know, with the health concerns, he's only played something like 22 games this season.
Yep.
His stats are down, and then he drinks all the time. And I'm not saying that's a issue for regular people, but when you're a pro and they're so hyper fixated on you,
That's me.
Yeah, you're a professional, dog. Like you said, it's very important. These guys have to be professionals, man. Luka Doncic is not carrying himself like a true professional. These guys have to understand that you have to be, you're held to a higher standard. I don't understand. Like, these guys look at themselves versus us as being above us, being better than us, being superior to the everyday average common folk. If that's the case, then why are you not holding yourself to a higher standard? Why do those kinds of people feel that they shouldn't be held to a higher standard? They should be held to a lower standard. It doesn't make any sense. That's why I laugh at a lot of these guys. They really want you to believe, or they make it seem as if their life is so hard. They've had it harder than everyone else out here. You want them, they want us to feel sorry for them. Like you said, Luka Doncic, you're not being a professional, taking care of yourself and doing the right things to make sure that you can be on the basketball court and be the best version of yourself when you're out there. You know, it's really interesting to see someone like a LeBron James and a Luka Doncic on the court together, because now you're talking about AOH. You said the Lakers are not done. They have 4 days before the trade deadline. So what do you have to bring in now, because Luka Doncic did nothing for you as far as what you lost with Anthony Davis. So now you need more pieces than you did before, because now you have two guys on your roster that don't play any defense now. Now you have two guys, not just the one. You have two now.
So here's a couple
quick question.
Well, hey, real fast. If you want to hold it for your next one, because Robin did a good segue, because there's some super chats that came in, and there's a pretty heavy super chat that came in regarding defense. First, I want to thank Nick from Tri-State, who cashed at me for $5. Appreciate you coming on the panel yesterday, sir, and I appreciate your support. Bladed Raider did a super chat here. It's connected. I'm not sure who it was to, but it says, another look at me moment for LeBalding. Yeah. So thank you, Bladed Raider, for who you super chatted that to.
Yep.
But here's the question I was talking, or the super chat that I was talking to, a $20 super chat. I'm not sure who it was to, but I think we as a panel can just discuss it since it was mentioned. Can you hide LeBron and Luka on the same player for defense? Hoop God, you seem like you were on the tip of your tongue with something. What about this? Yeah.
Question for the entire panel about Luka and Dart. I do acknowledge what you said earlier. I wasn't aware of the 22 games, but prior to that, Larry Bird was a beer drinker. Didn't really affect him too much. But as far as how do you hide them, that's why I don't believe this is going to be a long-term situation. Rob Pelinka is playing the ultimate chess level with LeBron. He made a king. Like, he didn't go to the bishop. He didn't go to the rook. He went to the king and said, we're going to remove your bishop, knight, whichever you want to call him, Anthony Davis, to force your hand. We are going to build around Luka Doncic for the future. You don't provide anything of value to assist him. So what we're doing is indirectly forcing you to come to the front office, humble yourself, and waive your trade clause. So in the art of I would say in the public opinion, in the public sphere, right? We can look like the good guys, and everybody can point the finger at you, because now you have to go somewhere else, and it has nothing to do with us because we didn't force your hand. You know, that's what they're going to say. You know, they're going to come out and be politically correct and say, you know, hey, we're willing to work with LeBron James and wherever he wants to go, and, you know, make sure everything is on the up and up. But behind closed doors, Rob Pelinka is laughing it up right now, and I absolutely love it. No,
That's
you
nice
can't.
to picture, but man, he hasn't had balls for a very, very long time. And suddenly he has the ultimate balls. I don't know, man. I'd like to think it's true because just think of the justice of it. You know, LeBron James is always throwing shots at Pelinka and saying, you know, make a move. Hey, I made a move. What do you think? But I just nothing else that Pelinka's done makes me think that he has the balls to stand up to LeBron like that.
Do you all remember back January 22nd, an article came out? I'm going to read this for y'all. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are growing concerned about the Lakers' ability to make a significant roster upgrades with their 2 tradable first rounders. Both have made it clear they want the front office, i.e. Rob Pelinka, who put the Lakers in championship contention since they believe the team is potentially a piece or 2 away.
Yeah.
I got to say, I don't believe this is something I don't know if we talked about on this show, but LeBron had said he had no idea that this trade was coming. I do not believe that for a second.
Nobody does, except for LeBron people.
Yeah.
We touched on that on AOH's live stream.
Yeah.
And I told you, that's all about creating the narrative, Dart. They're trying to create that narrative that LeBron James had nothing to do with this. He didn't know about it. So once again, now LeBron James can play the victim here. Oh, man, LeBron James is upset. He doesn't understand why they got rid of Anthony Davis. You know why they got rid of Anthony Davis, LeBron James. Of course you do. You own your own agency. We're supposed to believe you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, man? Come on, man.
Watch these Luka Lakers jerseys. Watch that jersey skyrocket to number 1. And you will see that this is, again, about selling tickets and not about the team. It is the second major move the Lakers have done in the last year to benefit just LeBron. The first, signing Bronny. The second being this, because it's a little get-out-of-jail-free card. If I was a Laker player right now, I'd be upset. I'd be livid. Like, this team does not care about winning. Why get rid of our one defensive staple? Now every play is going to be a 3-on-5 fast break because you're going to have 2 guys pissing and moaning at the refs or falling down on each other. You know what I mean? So it addresses nothing.
I mean, you guys hit it on the head. They have similar play styles. So, listen, I said at the beginning of this season, I said this was the first season since Anthony Davis had been on the Lakers that he led the team in field goal attempts. He was shooting about 18 shots a game. LeBron James was shooting 16 shots a game. But then all of a sudden, after the first month of the season, when Anthony Davis was MVP level and he was getting all this love, and everybody was like, damn, Anthony Davis looks amazing, and ESPN started looking stupid, and Kennedy J. Smith started looking stupid, what did we start noticing? LeBron James started to take more shots and take away from Anthony Davis. So now, so much so, before this trade, they were both taking 18 shots a game now, on average. So with Luka Doncic coming in now, I said, Anthony Davis should have been taking around 23 to 25 shots a game easily every night for the Lakers. It would be great for the Lakers, would make them even that much better because it takes away shots from LeBron James. I also said LeBron James should be playing around 20 to 25 minutes a game on average. JJ Redick should be doing that. That would add to the Lakers because now you have LeBron James on the court so much with the turnovers, was also taking more shots. So is he going to sacrifice those shots? Luka Doncic needs like 25, 26, 27 shots a game, man. He needs that. Anthony Davis didn't need that.
Jimmy James super chats for $1.99 to somebody. He says, Luka donut kick.
Thank you, Jimmy. If that was mine.
Yeah, Luka donut chits. Yeah, I like that.
Donut chits. There you go.
But Europeans drink beer in the morning. It's not that weird. It depends on how you're built. I mean, Rodman was drunk and hungover and outrunning people. Jordan didn't need sleep and drink whiskey and smoke cigars. I got to tell you guys, I've played some pretty good games completely drunk. It's possible. It can happen. But here's the real thing. Luka was almost to win MVP while he didn't exactly look in shape. So were we joking about him being an MVP caliber player while he looked out of shape? Why are we pretending like he can't play basketball while he looks out of shape if we almost voted him MVP one season while he looked that way.
I think it's because I think it's because particularly with this season, he's only played half the season or less than half the season with the 22 games. So it's not just the alcohol, it's just the conditioning in general. And it seems like he just gets injured and injured. I haven't watched him under a microscope, but reading some of these articles, the aspects of it is that they're worried about his health, i.e. the drinking, and then his conditioning, meaning the weight associated with it and him staying off the court.
That's a great point, except that this applies to how many stars in the NBA? You just happen to be looking at his drinking, but they all have some excuse not to be playing.
Yeah, but hey, wait, see, this is the thing, man. When we talk about being the best version of yourself, the problem for Luka Doncic is not that he's a great player with the drinking or without the drinking. The problem is that he's not the best version of himself with the drinking. So what happened last year in the finals? He started to fall off, and what? He started to go down as the competition went on. So maybe if you weren't drinking, maybe you could have had that same standard across the board, and you would have been the best version of yourself. That would have made you a champion, not an MVP. Yeah, Luka Doncic's a great player. He could be an MVP caliber player. That doesn't really say much because the NBA, we talked about how weak it is right now. But the reason why the Mavericks, or one of the reasons why the Mavericks weren't champions last year, is because Luka Doncic wasn't his best version because he wasn't able to have the same conditioning and the same level on both sides of the ball because of the things that he's doing. When you talked about, people could play, Larry Bird and, these guys can do this and Michael Jordan didn't need sleep. We're talking about some of the elite guys, Dennis Rodman. These are elite athletes. Now, in the case of a Larry Bird, once again, let's think about this. The things that Larry Bird could do, not many of us could do. That's why I say these guys are supposed to be viewed as greater than the regular common folk. They're professional athletes. They should be able to go out and drink and still go out there and perform. When a common person like us, we shouldn't be able to do those things. But not everyone could do these things, man. And once again, are you going to be the best version of yourself? When we look at Larry Bird, no one's going to be like, oh, man, maybe if Larry Bird didn't drink a little bit, he would have been a little bit better. No, he got the most out of his career. When we think about Michael Jordan, no one thinks, and I've heard people say this, oh, maybe if Michael Jordan didn't smoke cigars and drink, he would have been even greater. No, he would not have been. He was the way he was, and that's what made him Michael Jordan, man.
At the core of it, you mentioned the drive. And if you don't have the drive, that's the ultimate problem, because you either have the drive to understand that you shouldn't be drinking in order to be the best version of yourself, or you have the drive to be the best version of yourself despite drinking. You're like, hey, I drank last night, but I have the responsibility to bring it today, and I'm going to. And if I can't, then I realize I need to stop drinking. And both of those come down to whether or not you have the correct mentality to be the best.
That's right, AOH, the mindset, man. Round the money.
Thank you.
You always are. I'm just saying, man.
Back at you, but stop yelling. God damn it.
Stop yelling so much. God, this guy's always yelling, screaming A. Smith.
Look at us. We're alone. Or is Hoops got here?
Oh, I didn't even realize that. No, everyone.
Absolutely.
Waiting for Robin to stop yelling.
Absolutely, I'm here. No, AOH hit it. He hit the nail on the head. Yes, it's a mentality. Once you change your way of thinking, a lot of the problems just fix themselves. Yes, you have to have that drive to know at 5:00 p.m. I'm getting up at 5 in the morning. Like you guys just mentioned, Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan. But let's go to Kobe Bryant. He shifted the whole mentality of that 08 team, because before that, they were at a bronze level. That was their ceiling, a freaking bronze medal. He gets there, no coincidence, they're of the top tier gold level team. It starts in the mind. And when you have guys that are not driven mentally, don't get me wrong, talented, yes, but your physical talent it's only 10%. The other 90, it comes from the mind. How are you wired is ultimately going to tell us how you're going to perform in those moments.
And we got to remember, what you put in your body isn't limited to whether or not you're drinking alcohol. You got people like Anthony Edwards eating junk food, and these guys, because of their egos or whatever, need to go to a fancy restaurant every night. Who's monitoring what they're ordering off of those menus? It might not be as bad as junk food, but is it really what they need in their bodies to perform the best the next day?
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's a great point, AOH.
Yeah.
The Jesse Glad Saget says for the 10th year in a row, he super chats for $5. He says for the 10th year in a row, the NBA trade deadline is 10 times more interesting than the NBA itself. That's why the NBA is in the toilet.
Thank you, Jesse.
Agreed, 1,000%.
Robin, it sounded like you wanted to talk on it.
No, I think that's a great comment. I was reading it before you read it off, Don. I was looking at it on the screen, and I thought, man, it's so crazy how you know that an NBA fan, people, we think about these kinds of things, and you look at the trade deadline as being where all the excitement is. Oh my God, this is the most exciting part of the NBA. It's really sad that this is what happens every single year, man, because every single year, like I said, these guys ain't loyal. Someone's getting moved here, someone's getting moved there. The grass always green on the other side, for a lot of these guys, man. I just thought it was a great comment by Jesse Gladstagger. Thank you.
Yeah, I think with the trade deadline, I think it's always exciting, and I mean, I think the point of it is that it has to be exciting because they're trying to make something dramatic happen to improve their chances for the future or for the season. So, but in respect to how they're selling the NBA, yeah, it sucks that this is really the thing that, at least for me, this is the most exciting thing that's happened in the regular season so far. I mean, right. I can't think of anything else that was greater other than just some, personal player fandom. I saw some, highlights of Wemby or something like that. But outside of that, this is.
Think about the headlines. Like you just said, the trade deadline's always been exciting, but has it been more exciting than the NBA season itself? What have we been dealing with all season? Things like Jimmy Butler saga, the Joel Embiid saga, all these nonsensical Zion Williamson saga. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Anyone else want to comment on this, or?
Well, it just seems like every gimmick ends in disappointment. At some point, people catch on. I shouldn't bother tuning in for this latest gimmick because you got the same actors. You got a new script with the same actors, and the actors are the problem.
Hey, wait a minute. AOH, are you quoting Shakespeare? All the world is a stage, and the participants are members who will exit if they're given time.
I mean, the fact that they led with LeBron not knowing about it. Like, when you're guilty of something, you get real specific with the details, right? It's like, no, he didn't know. He was at dinner. They ordered steak. His wife found out. Like, it was so specific that it's a lie. It's like if you're having an affair, your wife asks you, oh, hey, how are you? I swear I never even talked to her. If that's your response.
But
you know what I mean?
This is why I don't.
That detail is what convinced me. Now I believe him.
Now you believe he had nothing to do with it, right?
He had a side of mashed potatoes. How could it not be true?
This is why I don't think he was in on it. The reason why, we know Anthony Davis is his crutch. Why would he be okay with his crutch being shipped out?
Because he's delusional. He actually would probably believe that Anthony Davis isn't as helpful as he is. He's that delusional. I mean, they keep giving LeBron the MVPs. How about LeBron claiming that for the last 2 seasons, saying that AD will be the face of the league or the team, and then LeBron doesn't hand it over.
He meant the Mavericks. He meant the Mavericks. Anyways, you're confused.
No, but to that point, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Hoop God, because it's confusing because it doesn't make sense. To your point, why would you want to get rid of AD who compliments you versus somebody who essentially is taking your space in Luka Doncic, unless they can figure it out. But again, I have my doubts without repeating myself. So I understand your point of why would he okay it or bless it off. Well, it also, think about it on the monetary side. Not to say that LA isn't a huge market and it doesn't go across the nation. But you have somebody like AD in another large market in Dallas as one of your frontmen for your marketing or your sports agency. I don't think it hurts. And I think at this point, I think a lot of us agree with this, is that I don't think he's really trying to win championships. He wouldn't be hanging out in LA doing the same sort of stuff, going on the same circus and the same Ferris wheel of, we need to trade somebody now to help LeBron. And they never really seem to have any real plan to get better. Or that's how I look at it from the outside looking in, because they trade people and then they just let them go away. And a lot of the times these guys leave and they do well when they leave. I just
but that is LeBron's plan. He doesn't ever want to develop. His plan is desperation move for an instant championship. It doesn't work. New season, new desperation. Blame the front office. Pressure them into they made the move in the offseason. It's not good enough. Pressure them during the regular season. Pressure them before the trade deadline. It's the same. He's just dumb about it, Dart. He doesn't know how to invest in the future.
Dart,
Yeah,
you
no,
don't think
you're right,
taking Luka's
that's fair. To your point, AOH. But what's up, Robin?
No,
Or
I'm just saying
Steam,
you're
or
right
whatever.
because
Yeah.
we
Go
always
ahead. Yeah,
question why LeBron James is still playing. You know, like you said, he's not really playing for championships or, you know, a lot of these guys, you know, they're out there for the money. You know, LeBron James out there in LA to make movies, to make money, to build on his brand. He's not necessarily out there to go out there and collect those stats, man. That's it.
What's up, Steam?
Oh no, I was gonna say, if you don't think Luka Doncic isn't gonna be the main bad guy in Space Jam 3, you're delusional. It all reeks of a money grab. I mean, again, the moves he's made, the moves he's been attached to for the majority of his career have all had some kind of weirdness or shadiness about them, and I don't think that that's people grasping at straws. There's never been just a straight up transaction where everyone's like, oh, that makes sense, or you know, this works for everybody. So this, just like anything else, is weird. Um, I agree with you. They clearly don't want to win. They wouldn't have drafted Bronny if they did. So this is, if I'm a Laker guy, I'm upset. I'm like, I'm probably trying to get out of here. You know.
Absolutely.
I got a question. Speaking of weirdness, LeBron fans, plenty weird as it is. Now, we all know that there's no way LeBron didn't know. Do you think LeBron fans actually believe that he didn't know, or do they just want to believe that and are willing to believe lies? Like, do you think deep down they buy these things that come out from ESPN saying, oh, LeBron was taken off guard at a restaurant?
Deep down, no. But I think they want to convince themselves that it's true. But deep down in their hearts, I think they have to understand the likelihood of that with the surrounding circumstances of being true. Now, I think a lot of them want to believe that and may believe that in their head, but when it's in their gut. I think it has to be in their gut that it's not true.
Well, that's the problem for the LeBron James fans that we always talk about, that they have to come to terms. I always say the same thing on my channel. They have to look themselves in the mirror. That's what they have to do every single day, because you're literally believing a lie. Remember, they have to believe these narratives. I always say the same thing. Any LeBron James fan, any LeBron James YouTube channel, they have to support the lies and the narratives. That's the only way that you can get behind LeBron James. So like you just said, Doc, they have to believe that. They have to. They have no choice. That's the only way that you can understand these things, is to believe everything LeBron James says, everything that ESPN says about LeBron James, everything that guys like Nick Wright and Shannon Sharp said. You have to believe those things. And that's why we say we're setting the record straight. If you guys go and do your own research, you actually open your eyes, then you'll see the truth. But you guys never want to live in reality. LeBron James don't want to live in reality. Once again, are we really supposed to believe that the man who owns his own agent, he owns his own agency, that Anthony Davis is in? He doesn't know what's going on? It's laughable, like I said. But this all goes back to, like I said, they're creating a narrative around LeBron James that he had no idea about this. So once again, LeBron James can save face.
That's a pretty obvious point that you just pointed out. We're supposed to believe that this deal took place without Rich Paul knowing.
Let me wrap on that when y'all finish.
Rich Paul didn't know, or Rich Paul chose not to tell LeBron, because he represents both of them. They went over Rich Paul's head. I don't think you even are allowed to go over the agent's head. So, yeah.
Just real fast, Hoop God, before you go, just as a hypothetical, I'm not sure. I think that he would probably know, but I think ethically and also, I guess, within the policies of the NBA, or I'm not familiar with with all of that within the NBA. But I think even if he was told, I think you couldn't publicly say that. You know, you have to put some deniability there, because I would think that that's a conflict of interest in respect to influencing one of your other, you know, the whole thing behind it that we've been talking about. It is probably an ethical issue, or probably meaning it is likely even in the policies as listed as an ethical issue. But what's up, Hoop God?
No, Dart, you're absolutely right. Yeah, because technically LeBron James is not supposed to have any foreknowledge of whatever it is that Rich Paul is orchestrating behind closed doors, seeing that he is a player and Rich Paul is he's the agent. He's the guy that's handling almost business matters. So yeah, by the letter of the NBA, by the letter of the law, yeah, he's not supposed to know anything. So now Rob Pelinka can hide behind that and not see any punishment. But what I wanted to ask is let's go with that. Let's just go ahead and say, okay, yeah, LeBron James was in on this, he knew about it, and he's out here trying to play, oh, I didn't know, blah, 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 to make himself look good. So who else do the Lakers acquire? Because now you have two defensive, well, really you have three defensive liabilities if you factor in Austin Reeves or Dalton Connect,
Austin Reeves.
Yeah. So who else are they going to
Reeves shut down Cat.
Right. So you have Jared Vanderbilt, but he can't guard everybody. So who are they going to acquire now? Because I'm really trying to see, like, how is this going to play out throughout the regular season without it being a complete dumpster fire? Similarly to 21-22, when he came out and said, keep that same energy. And that roster he had was, I'm sorry, but it was better than this one.
Let's move on to some of these more super chats. We've Bandana Dan super chatted somebody for $4.99 and says, where does LeBron rank all time? I really don't know, but he's not in my top 1,000 players I'd start a franchise with.
I agree with you.
LeBron is the 26th greatest player of all time.
You see, the key with that comment there is that he wrote start a franchise with. Not in the top 1,000 all time where I would rank them, I wouldn't start a franchise with. That's very important. And that's really true because if you started your franchise with LeBron James, you wouldn't know if he's going to be there in a couple of years. You don't know how many coaches he's going to get fired, how many trades you're going to have to make for LeBron James. So why would you want to start your franchise with a guy who's probably not even going to be there?
I agree. I don't know if I wouldn't put it at 1,000, but in respect to what you're saying, Robin, I think his greatness as a player is different than who I'd want to start a franchise with. It'd definitely be lower on the franchise level.
Yep.
How do you justify keeping Bronny these next 3 seasons? How do you go out to a press conference and say
Steve. Let me quote JJ Redick. Bronny earned this. Okay, we don't want people to think nepotism had a part. Like, Bronny James literally earned it, even though Quincy Olivier is 5 times better than him. Like, he earned this. Dalton Connects is 4 times better than him. But no, Bronny earned this, guys. Relax, okay? Give the kid some praise.
It's laughable. Basketball is a joke. It's professional wrestling. I'm so thankful Steph and LeBron didn't connect and team up, because Steph probably wasn't with all this stuff, and Luka is, because I don't think he's really about winning either. So they'll crash and burn. I'm looking forward to it.
Rise Above Anything for $1.99 says LeBron has played with the whole darn NBA. It seems that way. Yeah.
Yo, earlier I said on AOH Live, we were talking earlier, I said if you go and you look at the rosters for LeBron James teams all these years, I said you're going to see numbers like 24, 25, 26 players, 22, 23 players on the roster. That shows you how much the teams are always fluctuating and rotating the guys on the team to accommodate LeBron James, man. It's ridiculous. Guys, go ahead and look. It's crazy.
No, that's true. When I try to do my videos comparing how much help one player has had compared to LeBron, you have to look at the roster at a different time of year because you may not get the full story.
Yep.
Doesn't that make Steph that much more impressive, though, since the two are always brought up in the same sentence because LeBron can't be great by himself? Like, the fact that Steph stayed with one team, he had KD, all right, cool, and he had Clay, but he's not shipping out 25, 26 players. He's not playing with that many top 75 players, and he's won just as much as LeBron in this era. So, that's one more just kind of knock against this whole GOAT thing. You've had players winning in your era, quote unquote, with less help. And that's a fact now, officially.
No, you run the money, Steve. I think that's why Steph Curry is viewed. I think the perception of Steph Curry has changed over the last several seasons, especially after he won that championship in 2022. That really changed the view, the Steph Curry versus LeBron James thing. Because like you said, Speed, Steph Curry didn't leave and join Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant came and joined him. So Steph Curry essentially played the role of Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James played the role of Kevin Durant. They went to go play with another player to show them the way. Steph Curry was already a champion. Let's not forget that. That wasn't his first championship with Kevin Durant. He had already been a championship before, and he won after. Can anyone tell what Kevin Durant has done since he left Steph Curry? He's done literally nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Here's a different one
And
for you.
real quick, let me clarify on that real quick. I'm not saying Steph is in the GOAT conversation. What I'm saying is the fact that he's even mentioned in the same conversation during LeBron's prime tells you everything you need to know about his GOAT case. Right, exactly.
Wait. But if the media, if they can concoct a narrative for LeBron to be in a GOAT convo with significantly less accomplishments, how come we can't do the same for Steph Curry?
What's LeBron done with draftees? What's he
Traded
ever
him.
done? Okay,
Traded
exactly. Has he ever won with draftees?
Traded him.
Okay, see,
AOH.
I'm sick of the overhype about the Warriors. You know,
AOH.
they were draftees. That's like calling Jordan's teams super teams too. They were draftees and they came together.
AOH.
It's just not the same.
LeBron traded Andrew Wiggins, and Steph Curry made him an all-star and won a title with him. Just think about that.
Yo, good point. Who got?
Think about that. He traded Andrew Wiggins. Steph Curry took this man, built him up, made him an all-star, and won a title with him.
LeBron tried to end Westbrook's career. Jokic revived
and look what Jokic is doing. Jokic has rejuvenized Russell Westbrook. I keep
think about it.
You guys don't strive for
LeBron
greatness.
James
That's your
teammates be
problem.
getting death threats playing with him. Death threats.
Well,
You guys don't strive for greatness. You don't know what it's like to win. Sorry.
And that's the problem is LeBron's got to have all this shine, it seems, and he's got to be ball dominant. Not to say that Andrew Wiggins was as ball dominant as Russell Westbrook, but it just seems that all of this gravity in respect to whether it be just him for his team or just in general, there's all this gravity around LeBron James that he doesn't know how to control. It seems like he just lets it come to him, and he tries to do it. And I'm not saying he's one of the greatest of all time. But the point of it is that, you know, in contrast to these other guys, how does he just jack it up when other guys seemingly, guys that are his peers in respect to greatness in the league right now, how are they able to do it? But he can't. But he has the same idea as them in respect to how they can be implemented, but he's just unable to do it. Now, there's more to it with coaching and other players surrounding it, but it just drives me crazy when people say, well, LeBron lifts his teammates and makes them better, when you observe it, especially within the last, in recent history, it does not seem to be true, or it's not what my eyes tell me.
Yeah. Yo, Don, if you think about what Michael Jordan said in The Last Dance, and this is really the best way that I could describe Michael Jordan versus LeBron James for a lot of people out there, and the leadership style in these men. Michael Jordan said, if you ask any one of my teammates, they'll tell you that Michael Jordan never asked me to do something that he wouldn't do. When I think about LeBron James, he's a do as I say, not as I do kind of guy. You're never going to get things done at that level. That's a big difference between his leadership and a lot of the great players in the history of the game. They were out there leading by example. So when we think about LeBron James, you remember a couple of years ago, LeBron James said in the post-game press conference for his teammates to go out there and do their jobs. He told them to go out there and do their jobs. So you're saying that, but you're not doing that, LeBron James. You're not playing defense out there. You're not doing your job. So once again, he'll say that, but he won't do it. You gotta walk the walk, not talk the talk. And Michael Jordan always led by example. He did what he told his teammates to do.
I got a two-part real quick, because sports and fitness, what you said, that is the epitome of leadership. Even if, we take it to military, I think Dark can relate. Of course, you can relate. I can. And so can Speem and AOH, because as an NCO, as a team leader, I would never ask my subordinates to do something that I wouldn't willingly do myself. But I want to quote Machiavelli. All right. I want to quote Machiavelli. is it better to be feared, healthy fear, or to be loved, right? When you establish that healthy fear, it's because your subordinates know, if this man is not willing to take a shortcut, how can I do it? Because if he's going to go 110%, I have to match him. Because now if he sees that I'm slacking, he can chastise me.
Hoop God, I
No
think
matter-
there's another word for that. It's called respect.
Exactly. And that's the point I'm getting at. Because I feel like a healthy dose of fear is what you just said. It's respect. Because the leader has established it, right? I'm not going to go out here and tell you to do something. I'm not going to say, hey, meet me at the gym at 5:00 and I come in at 5:15. What type of precedent are you going to establish? No, when I say meet me at the gym at 5:00, I'm going to be there at 4:45 because they have to see it. And if you see it over a period of time, now what is it? It's a ripple effect. Now you got one guy coming. Now you got 5 guys. Before you know it, the whole team is there. What does that do? Develops chemistry, continuity, cohesion, accountability across the board. It's infectious. We've never seen that with this guy. That's why he's never had that success that a Magic Johnson had, that a Larry Bird had, that a Bill Russell had, that a Michael Jordan, or Kobe Bryant, or Tim Duncan, Kareem, so on and so forth. Steph Curry, for crying out loud. He does not establish that precedent. He wants people to go out and do the dirty work so he can take all the glory. Rob Pelinka, you are a genius. I love it.
Let's get back to some of these super chats. We're only about a third of the way through them. Darren V super chats for $9.99. He says, "Can't LeBron be traded in the summer?" The way I understand his contract is that he's got a no trade clause throughout the entirety of his contract. And I guess the real answer is yes, but he'd have to waive it or adjust his contract.
Yeah. That clause is going to be waived just like people, like families waving at the, I would say, the Navy sailors when they're going off on the boat. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Wave that clause. Get out of here. Get him out of here.
Rise Above Anything was talking about what we were talking about earlier. It says LeBron is behind all of this. You can't trust him.
Yep.
From $1.99. Thank you. Just up front, thank you everyone who's super chatting.
Yeah, for real.
Everybody.
Homer Simpson, nobody cares about those empty stats. Kobe Bryant beat him in all the winning categories. Stop saying this obnoxious nonsense. Only losers care about stats.
Yep.
Gemini Girl says, Savannah's husband is out the door. His fate was sealed when he said he could play another 5 or 7 years. The Lakers were like, I think that's a bull poop, not on our watch. I think part of it is that I think they really are picking Luka. They're trying to mimic what they have right now with LeBron and move forward. I think that's what's going on. Do y'all have anything to add on that?
Well, that was to me. Thank you, Gemini Girl. And that's pretty good. That's funny. I mean, that could have scared the crap out of the front office. They're like, no. You're not staying here 5 to 7 years.
Yep.
I get, but the question is if he leaves, what happens with Bronny?
Well, that's an interesting thing, because I was thinking the same thing, man. Like, it's so weird now because you drafted his son. Is LeBron James gonna leave his son on the Lakers by him? It's
Right.
so weird, man.
Oh, listen, that would make this whole thing worth it. Is if he gets traded, Bronny's stuck there, gets no burn, which would stink for him, but completely collapses whatever he has planned.
This whole thing is laughable.
It is. It's like we barely talked about basketball. Like that, the LeBron thing is like it's so centered around non-basketball things that it tells you so much about like what you need to know about him as an individual. When it comes to most other GOATs, we're talking about what they do on the basketball court, not how they maneuver trades, not how they act off the court, not how they shadily operate their own agency and then say they don't know anything about anything. It's always something.
Yep.
Uncle Rico's Revenge super chats for $4.99. He says, "Poetic justice. If Cleveland wins, LeBron James goes back and they regress."
Yep.
Yeah, that would be funny. Yeah.
Yep.
He won't take the blame.
Nope.
Veggie Fish says, why didn't Luka get chopped for the best deal? And I kind of alluded it for what I think. And I don't know who Veggie Fish is a member to, but for member for 12 months, whoever you're supporting, I think that's an amazing amount of time to support somebody through the membership section. But it says, why didn't Luka get chopped for the best deal? I think this is what they thought was the best deal, because the reports that I saw is that they're concerned about his future moving forward. And if they were so urgent to do it, I think this is a great deal to get in return, is to get Anthony Davis. I'm not saying they couldn't have gotten somebody better, a better package, but they traded him due to urgency. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made the deal. Or that's how I look at it, because people act on what they think is going to be best for them, or through danger and fear and all of that. So I think it's the best they thought they could get. And I think in respect to that, it was a pretty good deal.
I'm pretty sure that was for me. I want to thank you, Veggie Fish, and thank you for being a long-time member.
Hey, I gotta get ready for this funeral, man. This was a good episode, guys. I'm gonna tap in and watch the rest when I come back.
The Lakers funeral?
All right, who God be good, man.
Hey, wait, that's a good one. No, man, it's an elder from my hometown. Just gotta go pay my respects. But yeah, I'll be waiting on the Lakers funeral. Matter of fact, we can have an impromptu. AOH, make sure you get the Undertaker's theme song for that one.
The what?
Get the Undertaker's theme song for that one.
Okay.
Rest in peace. Hey, y'all have a good afternoon, guys.
Yeah, you too, man.
You too, Hoop God. Yep. Cash super chats for $4.99. It says, AOH, congrats on getting Ryan Russillo, Richard Jefferson, and Baron Davis on the stream.
I tell you, man.
I don't know who Ryan Russillo is.
Yeah, someone's got to put a stop to that.
Is Ryan Russillo white? Because that would be, I guess that would have to be me. I don't know who
I'm
that is.
assuming I'm Baron Davis.
You know what's funny? What's funny about that is, for the longest time, if I turn your camera off, Robin, you and Fat Joe sound like the same person.
Oh
And
my God.
No, but that's a compliment, because Fat Joe's he has a good voice. I'm just saying, like, every New Yorker sounds like has
Yo,
that
but you know
thing.
what's funny? I always see people, labeling me in the chat like I sound like DMX, or I sound like this guy. I look like Drake. I look like Swiss Beats. They're always worried about my looks and my voice. Can you guys just listen to what I'm saying, man? I'm not here to meet people like that. You guys are so concerned about my looks sometimes. It's crazy, man.
Because you're relevant, man. It's because you're making a difference.
I'm not
But
seeing.
yeah, I would love to see me and DMX have a conversation. Rest in peace to DMX.
I'm not seeing the Baron Davis.
I've
I
never
don't
been
see
called
it
Baron
either.
Davis. That's a new one for me. But like I said, it's all good, man.
Play lean back right now. Close your eyes. I'm telling you, you will see Sports and Fitness rapping.
I can't.
I don't see that either, but
No.
yeah.
That's fine.
Like I don't. I can't even see color, guys, because I'm colorblind. I was going to get myself in trouble last night putting up my clips about the Laker fans, because I was like, there's a goofy looking fuck in the stands, and
Yo,
there's
I saw
another.
that. I saw that.
and
Anyways, I was
and then all of a sudden I was like,
you tiptoeing the line.
I know. All of a sudden I was like, oh shit! I've called out 3 Asians.
You
That
gotta
was not
watch
the
out
goal.
for the woke culture, man.
That was not the goal, but listen, whatever ethnicity you were goofy looking either way. So let's just
Listen, a
call it
goof
what
is
it
a goof, no matter what ethnicity you are, man. I told you, an a-hole's an a-hole, man. Someone who don't stand on integrity, don't matter what you look like, and a goof is a goof.
I think my favorite was the diabetes boy sipping on his Pepsi.
I saw that.
Uncle Rico's Revenge super chats for $1.99. He said AD refused the Diddy party, so LeBron James threw him under the bus. $1.99. I haven't heard any reports of that. I mean, I generally, I don't know. I don't really follow that stuff in respect to that, but
Sure.
no, I didn't even know what happened at the Diddy parties. People were talking about the oil. I had to get clarification. I had no idea what was going on.
So weird.
Yeah, I'll bet you did.
Yeah, I was there. That's why.
Now you sound like the LeBron James at dinner getting blindsided.
I had
They
no idea.
led with that. Not here's his trade. They led with, oh, by the way, LeBron didn't know. Everyone's like, didn't know about what? Oh, there was a trade also.
Yeah, Gemini Girl super chatted you again for the same thing. I think she thought we just didn't see it. But you got 2 for the same question. So you got $10 from Gemini Girl.
Thank you. Yeah, Dart will get around to you eventually.
Yeah. Doctor super chats for $5 says LA doesn't even make good movies. This is a post-pandemic era. LeBron lost the plot a long time ago.
But you know what the similarity is? These movies that are so terrible today still keep setting records because there's just so many people going to this garbage. I mean, the movies are jokes like the NBA's jokes, and yet the revenue is there.
Yeah.
Well, there's inflation too. It should be ticket purchases versus money. That's a better metric of seeing how many people went. But and then there's inflation of people. But anyway, what's up, Robin?
No, I was saying that LA doesn't make good movies comment. It's funny because, we talk about LA and the narratives. Everything's a narrative. It's not necessarily a movie now. Everything's a narrative now. And that's how they sell everything. So there's really no substance. Like I said, back in the day, they marketed everything off of the substance, what these guys actually were doing. You know what I'm saying? That's how you marketed the game. Remember, the NBA was fantastic. Remember, we love this game. They had all these marketing schemes, but it was based off of the guys. Now everything is a narrative. They're telling you that these guys are so great, but when you turn on the game, you're like, wait, what? They're not even there. They're not even playing. They tell you these guys are bigger, stronger, faster, but then you turn on the game, and then you see guys like Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic dominating the game, and you're like, these guys don't seem bigger or stronger or more athletic, so to speak, than the guys that I grew up watching, man. It's all about the narratives and how they're doing these things, man. We talk about LeBron James, and he lost the plot a long time ago, man. That's absolutely correct.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. I like the Netflix movies, but I don't know if they're made in LA. But
I mean, it's funny. You just mentioned earlier about you guys just said something about ESPN and how they. I think Speem said it. How the first thing that these guys said was, "Oh, LeBron James didn't know about the trade." You know what I found very interesting also, and I talked about this before with AOH, is that when I turned on the TV, the first thing that I saw when I turned on the TV to ESPN today was Ramona Shelburne talking about how this move was just as shocking and similar to the Kobe Bryant Lakers getting Pau Gasol. And I was like, what the hell are we talking about here? And I said they're trying to create a narrative about this move being similar to the Kobe Bryant Lakers getting Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol is nowhere on the level of Luka Doncic at this point in time of their careers. And I said, how can they try to make this narrative and try to say that these are similar scenarios? And I said, what would have been similar and, being as, maybe, surprising people would have been the move of Chris Paul going to the Lakers when they were talking about maybe Chris Paul going to the Lakers and, and the NBA stopped that move from happening. To me, if that move would have happened, that would have been a move that you could have said, hey, this is similar to the Lakers getting Luka Doncic.
Yep, absolutely. MacMan says the Lakers are forcing LeBron out of town. I don't think they are. I don't think they are. I think they're just trying to set up for the future. I think we talked about this a little bit, but
isn't forcing LeBron out of town arguably setting up for the future?
Right.
Well, fair point.
No, but shout out to Mac, man, for coming through. Like I said, we talked about, like, we know there's 4 more days left. There's a lot that can happen. Like AOH said, they're not done. We know they're not done because the Lakers right now, as constructed on paper, they're not going to win a damn thing with this team. So they definitely need to make a couple of more moves. We were talking about who the hell are they going to get? Who are they going to get is the question. So, like Mac Man said, it's going to be interesting. Is LeBron James on his way out? Is that why they're doing this? Like I said, are they already said who? We don't even know. LeBron James already have an exit strategy already set up.
Yeah. Dallas super chats for $4.99. He says, I think they're going to trade Luka in a year. He has 2 years left and LeBron is retiring or going to another team because he has a year left. I mean, I can see it happening, but I think that they would do that if Luka just falls off the train. But I think they're trying to give him a chance, and I think they think that they're getting a good deal and to replace LeBron. Luka, although he's not nearly at the star power as LeBron, they play similarly. He'll be in LA, and I think they think that they can sell him. But if he really just starts partying, which I think is a move that they didn't really consider living in LA, party city of the United States, I don't know if he's going to fit there, let alone on the court. I think that he really might fall off the train for location. So yeah, maybe. What do y'all think about that? Do you think that Luka's going to party his way out of the NBA?
I heard him and thank you, Dallas, for the super chat. I heard him being interviewed by Dan Patrick probably last year, and he'd already calculated that he couldn't, despite his high scoring, that he wouldn't be able to pass LeBron James. Like he wasn't planning on playing for that long. He wants to go have a farm and stuff. But the fact that he's already calculated that kind of tells you where his mind is. So maybe he's like, hey, people said I was amazing. I made a lot of money. Maybe I should. Everyone else in the league continues to get paid for not playing. Why don't I party my way out? I'm going to keep making a lot of money. Might as well party my way out in LA.
You know what's crazy, Airways, what you just said, man? It's really crazy, once again, the mindset of these guys and how they think. They'll say things like, oh, I don't plan on playing that long because I want to do other things in my life. And they act like playing till 35, 36, 37, 38 years old is going to inhibit you from doing other things, quote unquote, other things in your life, when the rest of us have to work till we're 62, 65 years old to collect Social Security or get your pension and all these kinds of things, man. You got to work for a very long time, man. You got to put the work in to reap the rewards of that work that you did put in. So for these guys to try to sell this idea to the fans out there, oh, I don't want to play the game that long, or, I made so much money already, I'm good. Once again, that speaks to them not having that love of the game. These guys don't really care about basketball like that. I say a lot of times on my channel, a lot of these guys are only playing basketball because they're tall. If they weren't 6'9" or 6'7" or almost 7 feet tall or over 7 feet tall, a lot of these guys would not be playing basketball. It's almost as if they were forced to play basketball because they're, like I said, otherworldly tall. Like I said, how often do you walk out in your life and you see someone 7 feet tall? Or you see someone 6'9" or 6'10". You don't see these kinds of people that often. These guys are blessed genetically, man. So let's stop acting as if, or these guys try to make it seem as if, oh, I don't want to play that long because I got other things I want to do in my life. I want to do X, Y, Z. You guys are professional athletes. You're getting all this money. You should go out there and give it your all.
Jacob Genesis super chats for $4.99. He says, Luka's getting paid in burgers, Bud Light, and a Creed playlist. You're about to witness magic. Luka magic, I guess. We're kind of talking about that. I don't like, and it's not to say that he can't play great. And, we're talking about Larry Bird, and AOH was talking about, drinking and being able to play good. It's just the continued effect on your body. And it doesn't seem like either his genetics can handle processing all the bad stuff he puts in his body, or he just doesn't work hard enough to keep it off. Because even in The Last Dance, you hear about Dennis Rodman hitting the Stairmaster for an hour after a game, so you can counteract some of this stuff through exercise. Not that that's the only, that's not the right answer, but it's a way to counteract it. But I mean, he is pudgy, man. Like,
I said earlier, I think I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off, Dark.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm done.
Oh,
yeah.
No, I think that the only reason why people have been highlighting Luka's, his physical, inabilities or his lack of being in shape is, like I mentioned earlier, that really seemed to be the issue for Luka Doncic down the stretch in the finals last year. He just physically was worn out. He just didn't have the conditioning to stay at that level and really do what they needed him to do on the court. That's part of the reason why, like I said, a lot of these guys, they had to put the work in. Like we think about, Michael Jordan, going to the gym, and you think about someone like Kobe Bryant. We mentioned Larry Bird and what he was doing. Once again, the things that Larry Bird was doing or the things that he could do are not things that everyday people could do. That's what I'm saying. Like, these guys are not everyday people, man. They're not. They're professional athletes. That's why I say they're supposed to be held to a higher standard, but they don't want to be held to that standard. It doesn't make any sense, man. But at the same time, we're supposed to feel sympathy for Luka Doncic not being in shape. No, we're going to call it out like we see it. Anyone that knows a professional athlete and the things that you do off the court is going to impact what you can do on the court. It absolutely does.
And Larry Bird, you mentioned these people can do things that other people can't. When Larry Bird understood that he couldn't do those things anymore, he voluntarily retired rather than seeing how much longer he could rape the NBA and the Celtics for money.
Right, exactly.
Bandana Dan. Yeah, that's funny. Unfortunately, there's zero chance Braun retires randomly. He will inevitably announce his last season beforehand,
Yep.
so he can have an ego farewell tour. He does it for $4.99. I agree. I think it could be as early as next year, especially with this Luka Doncic trade. But yeah, I don't think he would just retire. Yeah, he's definitely gonna stroke his ego and have the whole NBA stroke his ego, like other all-time greats have in the past, which is fine. But yeah, he's not going to randomly retire. I agree.
Yeah, you're right, dog. You're right on the money because that's the personality trait that we've seen from LeBron James. Once again, all we're doing is judging LeBron James off what he gave us to judge. So if we look at LeBron James as a selfish, self-centered narcissist, that's the way he showed us that he is. You know, I was watching a clip that was sent to me by a subscriber, and it was of Michael Jordan talking in a press conference before the 2003 All-Star game, his last All-Star game. And one of the reporters asked him about, you know, how he felt about his legacy and changing the game. And he said, you know, you're the guy that's known to change the game of basketball away from, you know, the big man and how we viewed you could win with a guy on the perimeter, you know, things of that nature. And Michael Jordan took no credit for that. You know, he mentioned guys like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and, you know, Dr. J and some of these other guys that, you know, showed or laid the foundation for someone like him to come along and be viewed. You know, he talked about some of these guys that could play multiple positions like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson that could do things at that level. So even, you know, at that point in time of Michael Jordan's career, like I said, this is in 2003, at the end already had 2 3-peats. Most people recognize him as the greatest player of all time. Even at that point in time, he's still humble enough and realizing I'm paying homage to the people who came before me, the people who showed and proved, man. And LeBron James has never really seen like he's one of those kinds of guys. Well, you said he wants to, you know, lead a legacy or, you know, pass the torch, so to speak. That's what we had that segment before because he didn't really have the torch to pass it.
Anyway, any comment?
You're on it. Nailed it.
All right, grand finale super chats for $5. He said this is from Sports Fitness Rants channel. You guys are being distracted. The ultimate head crack is when they fire JJ Redick. That's what no one sees coming. I mean, we all said that he's going to, you know, that he's going to be the scapegoat in one way or another. I don't think they're going to fire him this season, though. I think he's doing okay enough in respect to their record, unless it all falls apart, which it very well could be, which, you know, we've been talking about. I think he'll at least survive this season.
Well, I mean, shout out to Grand Finale for coming through. Thank you very much. And, you know, you mentioned distraction, how we're distracted. And you're absolutely on the money, we're distracted. But we're not distracted with the wrong things. We're distracted with the other scenarios here. This whole situation is one big distraction, man. And that's what LeBron James' entire career has been. One big distraction. How can we distract you about thinking about this? They want you to believe that LeBron James is only 4-6 in the finals because he played against the most strictest competition in the history of the league. No one else played against any great competition. Only him. That's why he lost. So once again, they're creating a distraction there, which is similar to the narratives that we talk about. So you're right. This entire scenario, we can talk about so many different angles because this is just, once again, a crazy thing. And once again, another LeBron James team, another crazy scenario, another crazy trading deadline.
AOH.
Next comment.
Yeah.
The Sandman Morrison super chats for $5 says, so what happens when Luka is taking 15 threes a game and taking LeBron scavenging rebounds? How is LeBron going to react when LeBron can't get his stats? Absolutely. That's why I don't think it's going to work out.
No, there's a compromise there. Luka takes the threes and LeBron gets the rebounds.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, like you said. See, this goes back to the distraction we're talking about. There's so many things we can talk about because if we just talk about the X's and O's, which we haven't really talked about much, and we think we all said this trade makes sense for the Mavericks. Anthony Davis looks like he's going to, if he's on the court, he's going to be a great help for what the Dallas Mavericks want to do. And you know, if you think about the Dallas Mavericks, they got rid of Jalen Brunson and now Luka Doncic in the last, 4 seasons now? It's really crazy when you think about the talent that they've had in that team over the last several seasons that have, you know, come on and off the roster.
Drama Therapy super chat for $4.99. He says this move shows the league moving away from LeBron Next refs will stop letting him travel and call him on flops. Finally, we'll get the NBA back. I think it's starting. I think it's the setting conditions to move away from LeBron. I don't think they are moving away from LeBron right now. I think that I think they're trying to set the next narrative, as we've been talking about, as Robin just mentioned, about passing the torch to Luka. I don't think that they're going to stop letting him travel. I think they're going to do that until he retires, per se, and same with the flops. But after that, you said finally we'll get the NBA back. I hope so, man. I'm not all the way convinced with that, but at least we'll be removed from the present discussion of LeBron in the NBA. So I hope we get it back.
I mean, like you said, guys, what if the NBA doubles down on the on the Los Angeles Lakers with Luka Doncic and LeBron James? Let's say Luka Doncic comes back in a couple of weeks and the Lakers go on a playoff push here at the end of the season, and all of a sudden, like you said, they're getting all the fouls in their favor. Luka Doncic and LeBron James are allowed to cry and flop and moan all over the court and get no technical fouls. And all of a sudden, we're like, damn, the Dallas Mavericks are in the Western Conference Finals against the Oklahoma City Thunder, man. The Los Angeles, that's really scary thought to think about, man, because once again, you never know how it's going to go.
AOH is deadly silent lately.
Keep those travels coming.
You're good, man. The Jacob Genesis 499 says Braun washes his Balco down with baby oil.
Wow.
Some of these comments you guys give are hilarious.
Yep.
I did this live stream about if FYF Sports is a bully, or the president of the LeBron James fan club yesterday, and the people in the comment section were just going crazy with the insults. It was humorous.
Attacking you?
No, attacking Lamont. It was similar stuff to Braun Wash, in respect to this sort of stuff.
I got to tell you, he really represents. It's true. It's like I listened to the beginning of your show, but I really can't stand the guy's voice, so I turned it off after that. He really represents the opposite of us. If you go to his channel or Gilbert's channel, they're featuring embracing lack of accountability. They're siding with the guys who are making excuses and acting like divas. And they're also 24/7 promoting LeBron, Bronny, or hating on Jordan. It's the opposite of ours, except I would say ours has much more integrity. Like 20 years from now, looking back, I will feel very comfortable about what my stance was. And FYF will have to face the fact that he was a whiny excuse maker who worshiped a pathetic, embarrassing excuse for a man in LeBron James.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think in respect to the GOAT debate, or a lot of, at least how I look at the situation, I mean, I don't really understand I really don't understand the conversation and the GOAT conversation involving LeBron and Jordan. It's not particularly close in my opinion. And the only thing that you can argue is the statistical production at his age and the cumulative total stats. But if you look at the things that he's done at once throughout his career, winning the All NBAs at the same time, the All Defenses, the MVPs, along with the championship, and just the compounding of all the things at once, he's done it. I'm not saying he hasn't, but in comparison to Michael Jordan, nobody comes close to being on top of all those different things like Michael Jordan did. So I don't know, let alone even with the single counting, say, comparing all NBA first teams. Yeah, LeBron's got more. I'm not going to go down the list of it. But when you look at all of those things, to include the scoring titles and stuff, even if you do it one by one and not actually put context or compound these achievements together, it's still, I think, very arguable for Michael Jordan, considerably above LeBron. But I don't know.
Well said, Dark.
Reed Heinrichs super chats for $10 says LeBron hasn't been the best player in any 5-year stretch he's been in the league, let alone the best player ever.
Ooh, That's an interesting comment. You know, I never thought about something like that. I saw the comment earlier and I was looking at it and I didn't really read it and pay attention. And he said the key there is a 5-year stretch. It's interesting because when we think about LeBron James and once again the narrative around his career is his longevity. And we've heard someone like Nick Wright say in the past that, LeBron James has been the best player in the NBA since like 2005, since like 2007. Oh, he's been the best player in the league for all these years. And that's what he tries to hang their hat on with LeBron James. And that's how they try to knock guys like Kobe Bryant, guys like Tim Duncan, some of the great players that were in the league when LeBron James got in the league. Does anyone really believe that LeBron James was the best player in the league in 2005? No one believes that he was better than Tim Duncan in 05 or better than Kobe Bryant or some of these other great players, Jason Kidd, some of these other guys, Allen Iverson, that were at the peaks of their powers. So when we think about the 5-year stretch, it's very interesting because, when we think about LeBron James' era, we think about the 2010s and we think about, the MVPs that he won and, things of that nature. Was he the best player in the league for 5 years straight when you had guys, like I said, like Kobe or even Dirk Nowitzki or Shaquille O'Neal or Tim Duncan or Kevin Durant or Steph Curry, some of these other guys, Giannis Antetokounmpo and some of these other guys that came on down the line? That's a good comment, interesting comment.
AOH, can you hear us?
I can hear you. I see.
We got two AOHs.
Yeah, get rid of one of them because I've closed my other windows.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one it is. Oh no, is it this one? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Okay, great. I think there is an argument that he was the top player.
Yeah.
For that stretch where he won the 4 MVPs in the 5 years. I think there's an argument there. You can compare that to guys like Kobe Bryant that were still in the league in the front end of it. And but I think that there is an argument that he wasn't. But I think the strongest argument for it is the 4 MVP season out of 5 years, winning all NBAs and all defenses and all that, and the couple of championships there, and having the strong team success in general. So I think there is an argument there. But I get, if you want to say Kobe was better on the front end, I think on the back end, though, I think at least during that stretch, you could say that he probably was the best for a couple years there, because he was amazing. But it was what's up?
Wasn't Kobe having better numbers than LeBron, even as they were giving LeBron those MVPs?
No, that's what I'm saying. Is especially on that front end of it, you could say somebody like Kobe was better. With stuff like that. So
it's interesting on the back end, like you were saying, Dart. This is what we start talking about those years. Remember, Derrick Rose, won the MVP in there, and then he had the horrific injury the next season. So was Derrick Rose better than LeBron James at that point when he won that MVP? These are the guys that we're talking about. When we talk about some of these other guys, we talk about Kevin Durant. Remember, it was Gilbert Arenas that came on here and told us that they gave LeBron James a championship in 2012. They gave it to him. So was Kevin Durant better than LeBron James in 2012? He wasn't playing on the Miami Heat super team. I agree with you, Dart. There's probably a better argument for LeBron James being the best player for a 5-year stretch, maybe from 2011 to 2016 or something like that. Maybe you can make that argument, or somewhere in that range. But then, after that, you start to talk about the Steph Curry time, and was Steph Curry really greater and better than LeBron James some of those years, man?
Anyway, it's just humped it.
It's yeah, I don't know if I need to respond to Robin. He pretty much nails it.
Yeah. King Trini for $9.99 says, here's the problem with setting the future statement. What is a better future, LeBron and Luka or AD and Luka? It's going to be a stat stuffing madness that forces Braun to take accountability. No, that's a great point. I think that, again, we talked about the concerns of the Mavericks, and I think there's the concerns of the Lakers after LeBron. But do I think the future for the Lakers, if they were able to pull that off? Yeah, I think that would have been better. But they would have had to have had LeBron waive his no trade, because they weren't getting Luka for anyone else. And I don't even think they might not have even traded Luka for LeBron.
Yeah.
So you think it's blasphemy to say that Kyrie and AD is better than Luka and AD?
I don't know. I think it's tough because Luka is the ball handler. He can do so much individually. And Kyrie, even though he's got that individual ball handling skill, I think he's more of an ISO shooting guard kind of player versus a listed point guard. So I don't know though. I don't think it's a bad team up, but I think Luka and AD would have been better. I don't think it's night and day in respect to how different it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think with that combination, like you said, it's tough. It could go either way because, we have to, basically we have to qualify this by saying in a perfect world because a lot of these guys are frail, man. We know Kyrie Irving, this guy never plays, man. He never plays. And he's a great player, but he's never on the court. The guy's not even barely sniffing 60 games a season, man. It's insane. So, if they're all healthy and everyone's playing their games, then I think you would maybe go with the Luka AD only because of maybe the ages of a Luka Doncic, versus maybe a Kyrie Irving. But once again, to me, Kyrie Irving, the thing that I always liked about Kyrie Irving is that he always seemed like a guy at the end of the games. I believed in him. I believed in Kyrie Irving at the end of the game, man. If you needed a shot, if you needed someone to have a moment, not saying that Luka Doncic can't be that guy, but Kyrie Irving has been proven to be a guy like that. And also to me, what Kyrie Irving tried to do last year was to be more effective on the defensive end. But in turn, it took away from some of his offensive production and what he could do on the offensive end. You have to try to find that balance as being a two-way player. It's not as easy as people think. But it's a tough one, man. It might be even a toss-up at this point.
What do you think, AOH? What do you think is a better combination?
Sorry, I was muted that time. No, he had some good points. If you can't be on the floor, then how do we know? And indeed, how are we going to know how it's going to play out with Luka and LeBron? How do we know how it's going to play out with AD in Dallas? Because we no longer have any faith that these stars are even going to play. All these guys getting all this money. I'm afraid to ever even get excited about a matchup. Now, I don't know, man. I think that LeBron James benefited greatly from Kyrie's playmaking and ability to dish the ball off. So I think AD would benefit greatly from that. As far as playing more defense, yeah, I mean, Kyrie looked pretty smothered at the end of the playoffs last year, but he was also going against the bigger guys with a deeper roster than when he was facing Steph Curry and the Warriors.
No.
All right. Austin Savini, super chats for $10, says, why do players and coaches not go to the podium and spill the beans on all the cheating LeBron does via physical abuse, the off-arm shove, hands to players' heads, bulldozing? Their contracts are guaranteed. I think in ways they know it's just bad form in respect to how the NBA is going to respond to it. You don't attack the darling. You don't attack the face of the league, or at least one of the faces of the league, in public. It's just, you don't take shots even if at your boss, even though your boss sucks, in front of your, the CEO of the company. You just don't do that. It's kind of a false equivalency, but just in point, you're not gonna. I don't think it would go well if they just were really hard on him in public.
But the messed up part of that is the darling of the league does those exact things. He doesn't carry himself with that sort of professionalism. He's happy to throw the front office under the bus or teammates under the bus.
You know what's interesting about that comment? When we talk about, players and coaches complaining or not complaining, or why don't they call these guys out, or, say something, the bulldozing, all those things. If you remember, some of the coaches actually do call us out. You guys remember, Scabba, it's a complete crap. It's a complete crap. That coach, he was calling out the Lakers. He was calling out the referees, and he was saying, how come these guys are getting all these damn calls, man? It's ridiculous. So some coaches have said some things, maybe not the specifics, like LeBron James and the offensive fouls, but they've said some things. It's like you said, Dar, it's not really up to the players to say anything, but who is it up to call these things out? It's supposed to be up to the broadcast booth. It's supposed to be up to the analysts. They're supposed to be the ones calling this out. And who does it? Maybe Charles Barkley and some of those guys might call it out, but even guys like Ken and Jeff Smith, they won't give you the honest facts. but it's I mean, like we talked about the other day, AOH, we laughed at Reggie Miller during the broadcast say, oh, look at this great pass by LeBron James when he was throwing a turnover. The pass was not even completed, and here he goes praising LeBron James. Instead of actually giving you the facts in the broadcast booth, these guys are not. So it should be up to those guys to call this nonsense out and say, yeah, man, when we watch these games, they're traveling all over the place and palming the ball. They don't do it, so we have to do it.
Dental
Let me
hospital.
go back to your Darko example, because there's an answer at the end of it, because the 2-minute review or whatever that worthless crap is that the NBA does, after Darko called out a game that was absolutely absurdly unfair, they're like, we didn't find anything wrong with the officiating. So you basically have the NBA saying, yeah, go ahead and complain, we'll fine you, and it won't accomplish anything.
Yup. Exactly, LH. Where we lost Dart again? Where'd Dart go? He dipped out?
I cut him off
Yeah, I
too many
told you.
times.
It's just crazy to me how they continue to put everything as a narrative, man. Like, it was really, like I said, it was shocking to me when I turned on the news or I turned on the TV and I saw some people on YouTube making videos, and they were talking about how LeBron James was claiming to not know anything, and they said creating all these narratives around this stuff, man. It's really it's a shame, man. And I see people in the chat talking about how the NBA is becoming more and more of a reality show. That's really all it comes down to. Like, you said something earlier. We were talking earlier, Dart, about how the trade deadline was always exciting. And it was always exciting because, you didn't know if your team was going to make a small move here and there. And, if a team was going to get that key role player. That's usually what it was. Maybe a team was missing like that key guy to come off the bench or to fill that role. And then you got him and you're like, oh, man, this is going to be crazy with this guy on the team now. But the season was always viewed as being greater overall. We didn't remember the trading deadline necessarily. Now all we do is remember, hey, this guy went to this team. This guy went to that team. This guy teamed up with this guy. It's crazy.
Dental hospital medicine prescription, I guess,
Right.
is a new member to somebody's channel. Welcome, Dental Hospital
That's awesome.
medicine.
Awesome.
Yeah, shout out to all
Welcome.
you guys in the chat, man. I see you guys out there. Everyone that's, like I said, been hitting us with the super thanks. You guys have been truly, truly, man, humbling, guys, what you guys were doing for supporting us. It means a lot. Thank you so much, guys.
Our friend Wisdom Inaki super chatting this 400 Nigerian, which I don't know how much that is. Bron was having better numbers than Kobe 2008 to 2012.
Yeah, that's what I
Right.
was
See
saying.
the numbers.
And look how important it is today that they gave LeBron those fake MVPs, because you have a Stephen A. Smith almost every day before he criticizes Bronny, suck LeBron off for half an hour and reference these things. He's 2 or 3 all time. He's an 4-time MVP. He's an Olympic MVP, and he lists all this crap that really LeBron arguably didn't even deserve. And yet you're saying, hey, LeBron gets a pass. LeBron's present bad behavior gets a pass because of his past fake accolades. I mean, it's pretty messed up. It's a fake present based on a fake past.
Right. How come Kevin Durant didn't get any MVPs playing on his super duper team with Steph Curry? He didn't get no MVPs. He got no MVPs those years. But LeBron James, like you said, he got 2 MVPs playing on his super team, Miami Heat. How did he get MVPs by that? When we talk about the numbers, this guy mentioned LeBron James put these numbers, had better numbers than Kobe Bryant. Once again, where's the impact? The impact. Let's think about 2009, because that was one of the years that he put down there. 2009 was actually the year that Kobe Bryant and LeBron James were supposed to face off in the NBA Finals. Nike was promoting LeBron James and Kobe Bryant with the little dolls. You guys remember those commercials? They were hyping it up from the start. You guys remember what Dwight Howard said? We were offended that Nike was hyping up LeBron James to beat us before we even played them, because they were promoting Kobe beating LeBron James in the finals. So once again, Kobe Bryant got there, my man. So where were the numbers from LeBron James in 2009? He wasn't there in the finals. And the team that LeBron James lost to, Kobe Bryant beat in the finals. The impact that Kobe Bryant had. Once again, don't tell me about the numbers.
You guys, they talk about what LeBron James did for the game or for the league. LeBron didn't even keep his end of the bargain. Like, there's the NBA promoting him, doing commercials about the face-off between Kobe and LeBron. LeBron fails to get his team to that spot. Like, he didn't keep his end of the bargain on that.
Exactly. Yo, shout out to my cousin Sunshine in the chat. Thank you for coming through. That's my cousin Sunshine down there representing, holding us down with the support. Thank you.
Awesome. Michael Silberg, super chats AOH for $2. He said, "How did you get Magnum PI Higgins host?"
Wait. Is Higgins the British dude, or is that the guy with the helicopter?
I just know Magnum PI, which I don't know if yeah.
Higgins, or the British dude had a mustache like yours. Tom Selleck had a mustache that was like about 5 times the size of yours.
Yeah.
And then, but I thought Higgins, I don't know. I'm thinking of it. No, I guess you're the British dude.
Okay. I used to watch it when I was a little kid. It used to come on TV, but yeah, I don't remember. I mean, I think the last time I seen that show, I was probably like 12.
That's so funny, man.
Yeah, British dude. Dart is Higgins per Michael Silberg.
Work on a fake accent to host the show with.
That's good, man. That's good.
Oh, the Hawaiian shirt probably too, because that show was based in Hawaii.
Yup.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank the chat. We've run out of super chats. We've been doing the show for about an hour and 50 minutes. Most of it was super chats, which is always amazing. Thank you all, chat, for joining us. We've had over 600 people watching this pretty much the whole time.
Wow.
And for next week, I guess we'll touch on the Kobe stuff that we were going to go do today. However, we may have some more fascinating trade news next week as well. So
yeah,
to be determined. But otherwise, we'll talk about the Kobe thing we're going to talk about this week. Gentlemen, Robin, you have anything for the people?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank everyone as usual, man. Once again, I want to thank you, Dart, for always doing this, man. Like I said, man, just being the guy to coordinate all this stuff, man. It really means a lot. Like I said, man, I've always liked, being on here with you, man, for all this time, man. This is great. Once again, the Czar of the video footage, AOH, thank you once again for being here, man. Like I said, everyone in the chat, anyone who's donated to our channel, you're just everyone out there, man. I might try to do a live or a couple of lives this week, man. There were a couple of things that people were requesting me to talk about. I want to talk about Adam Silver on a live, maybe in the 10-minute quarters that he possibly threw out there. To me, it's absolutely ridiculous. The game that we love is completely being changed right before our very eyes. And Adam Silver, once again, is not a true fan of basketball, man. He does not care about the game. He really believes, and he's talking about, people watching TV and how long the game is, and we got to shorten it up to get. You kidding me? Once again, the game, there's nothing wrong with the game. The game is fine. We all love basketball. There's nothing wrong with the game. The problem is the players, man. These fools, these stupid referees. Can we clean the game up, officiate them to the standards, force these guys to show up to work? They came up with a 65-game minimum, and a lot of people thought Adam Silver was doing something good for the NBA. And yes, that was a step in the right direction, but he should have been a 75-game minimum or a 70-game minimum. You can't allow these guys to miss all these games. It's ridiculous, man, because all they're doing is load managing behind it. That's all they're doing, man. So once again, thank you everyone in the chat. Thank you guys. Like I said, I hope to do some lives this week, go over the Adam Silver stuff and maybe a couple other things, man. Like I said, it was great, guys, man. And you guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yeah, and Robin, just stand by so we can talk about that thing otherwise. Hey, wait, you got anything for the people?
Well, I know you're trying to wrap it up, so I'll resist jumping on what Robin just said. We'll save it for another time. Thank both of you guys. Robin, thanks for coming on early this morning. And thanks everybody for watching and for the super chats. There may have been a few that we missed, and I will try to acknowledge you guys in another video, but thanks a lot for the support.
If I did miss it, I apologize. Yeah,
it's hard to keep up, man. It's
yeah, but thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have a fantastic day, and Michael Jordan fans are the best.